fish and seafood, lobster, conch, shrimp, and various species of finfish, they figure significantly in our culture. They are a part of us. In fact, we are people of the Caribbean Sea. Fishermen and fishing communities depend on the resources for their livelihoods, for employment, for food security. But the resources are limited. These are shared, highly migratory resources. There are others, such as the flying fish. The flying fish is much more restricted in its distribution. It is very important in the Eastern Caribbean. It's quite an inspirational species. It's a cultural icon.
When it comes to flying fish, we are the kings of fishing flying fish.
They're usually plentiful. As you can see, they're just a small fish, but this is a fish that employ about 6,000 people in Barbados.
Flying fish is an annual species, which means that we can expect naturally that the abundance from year to year is going to fluctuate. This year it started well, and the end of the season, or the second spawning, never really happened. So on everybody's minds right now, flying fish is down. If you spoke to them this time last year, they were happy, happy, happy about flying fish.
There are 17 countries that are members of the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism. That is only a portion of the countries in the wider Caribbean region. In the wider Caribbean region, I think we're talking about 34 or so states and territories.
Clearly this shows you the complexity of the region and how it's just a little jigsaw puzzle of exclusive economic zones. We have, I think, 95 or maybe 100 international boundaries.
And the resources, the fishery resources within the Caribbean Sea are shared.
There is no fish that when it reaches the edge of the exclusive economic zone of Barbados, it says, oh, okay, it's time to turn back.
Well, they're not Barbadian fish, they're not Tobagonian fish, they're not Trinidadian fish. They're migratory fish passing through the Caribbean at a particular time of the year.
The fishermen know that these resources that they're dealing with go beyond national boundaries in many cases.
In the Caribbean Large Marine Ecosystem Project, we have developed a working model, which we call the Caribbean Large Marine Ecosystem Governance Framework.
And I think the beauty of CLME is that it's tackling it at all levels. It's tackling it from the level of the individual, the man on the street, and it's also tackling it from the highest levels of government. So I think it will be difficult, but I think it will work because they're hitting all the different levels that they need to hit.
We look at habitat. One of the things that the project is looking at, we hardly have any mangrove swamps left because we have just destroyed all the mangrove swamps to make way for coastal tourism development.
As you can see, it's really close to land. So a lot of the impacts from land, a lot of the land-based sources of marine pollution are going to impact almost directly on these nearshore reefs. Well, if these reefs go, then our herbivorous fish are going to go, and then the bigger fish or predators won't have the smaller fish to feed on, so they're going to go. So coral reefs die, our fisheries go right along with it. We're small islands, we rely very heavily on corals, and we feel that if we can get everyone on our side, if they understand them, if they see them, if they start to love them, if they understand how important they are to us, they'll help us protect them. But most people have never seen them. Most Barbadians don't even swim. They'll go on the submarine. A lot of people will go on the submarine, so we're really happy about Atlantis submarines. The submarine is a good mixture of tourism and public awareness and a little bit of science thrown in there too. We're going to try and use it a bit more for research. We'd like to see things like corals spawning because they do it at night, which would be, very good use of the submarine, and they're very open to things like that.
Most visitors who come and lie on a white sand beach don't realize that that sand came from a living reef, and without a reef you're not going to have a beach.
So we have to put in place the policies and the measures and the governance systems to ensure that we use these resources in a sustainable manner, that we obtain optimum benefit from these resources for our countries and for our people.